The night the moon called my name. They say rabbits only fear the night. But on the night everything changed. I wasn't afraid. I was curious. I remember the moment clearly. The forest had gone unusually quiet, as if every leaf was holding its breath. I was nibbling on a clover under my favorite silver birch when I heard it. A whisper. Soft. Falling like snow. Luna. I froze. Rabbits don't have names. Yet the moon had spoken mine. A pale beam reached down through the branches, warm as a mother's embrace. It touched the center of my forehead, and a tiny circle of moonlight bloomed there, cool, glowing, alive. My heartbeat echoed inside it, thump thump, thump thump, as though a second heart had awakened. Then I heard them. Not the rustling leaves. Not the owls. But the thoughts of every creature nearby, sad, lonely, tangled thoughts that fluttered like lost birds. My ears twitched, overwhelmed by their whispers. Before I could understand any of it, a sudden rustle came from above. A small sparrow, shaking, breathless, fell from the branches and landed right at my paws. Its wings were trembling, but its eyes found me with desperate hope. You heard the moon too, it said. I forgot how to fly. Please, help me remember. The circle of moonlight on my forehead pulsed gently, as if answering for me. And that was the moment I realized. The moon didn't just call my name. It gave me a gift. A gift I didn't yet understand. But one the entire forest was already waiting for. The sparrow who forgot how to fly. When the sparrow collapsed before me, dawn had barely brushed the sky. Mist clung to the grass like sleeping silk, and the whole forest still felt half-dreaming. But his fear, that was painfully awake. I can't feel the wind anymore, he whispered, eyes wide with a confusion no bird should ever know. I wake up, flap my wings, and they remember nothing. His trembling feathers brushed against my paws, and the moon mark on my forehead warmed gently, almost like a sigh. I crouched beside him, letting the glow spill softly over his wings. That was when I heard it. Not his voice. Not his breath. But the echo inside his memory. A hollow place where the sky used to live. A vision flickered before me, a storm, a fall, a moment of panic where the world spun too fast. And then, silence. The kind that swallows courage whole. I murmured, a piece of your sky got lost. The sparrow's head drooped. Then I'm broken, moon rabbit. Birds without sky become nothing. No, I said softly, placing a paw on his wing. You still remember fear, which means you once remembered flying. Memories don't vanish. They only hide. The wind stirred, brushing my fur like a gentle nudge. As if the forest itself agreed. Stand, I told him. He hesitated, but rose. His wings opened, uncertain, fragile. Don't search for the sky, I whispered. Let it come to you. He closed his eyes. And for the first time since the storm, a single feather caught the morning breeze, lifting, trembling. Trying. And in that trembling, hope returned. The river that refused to flow. Rivers don't simply stop. Water doesn't forget how to move. Yet on the morning after helping the sparrow, the forest greeted me with an impossible silence. The river of still mirrors, usually so lively it giggled against its own stones, had frozen mid-motion. Not into ice, but into memory. Every ripple held its shape like it was sculpted from glass. I stepped closer, ears trembling. The moon mark on my forehead flickered uneasily. Something was wrong. A soft groan echoed beneath the unmoving surface, deep, old, and tired. I knelt at the riverbank and let my glow spill into the water. Instantly, a vision hit me like a swallowed breath. A great turtle, ancient as moonrise, curled beneath the riverbed. Its shell was cracked, not from injury, but from sorrow. It was hiding, pulling the river's spirit into stillness with it. "Why are you hurting?" I whispered. The turtle's voice rose from the depths, slow and mournful. "Little moon rabbit, I have carried the memories of this river for centuries. But last night, one memory returned that I cannot bear." The water shivered, though it did not move. "What memory?" I asked. A pause. A trembling. Then, the moment the moon lost a piece of herself. My heart lurched. "It fell into this river," the turtle continued, "long ago. And now it calls for you." The moonmark throbbed so brightly it hurt. Somewhere beneath the still water, a forgotten piece of the moon was waiting. And the forest knew it before I did. The fox with the borrowed heart. I found him where the forest meets the mist. A fox shaped from moonlit frost, elegant and impossibly still. But what startled me wasn't his silver coat. It was the way he bowed. Not like an animal. Like a knight greeting his queen. "Moon rabbit," he said, voice smooth as winter air, "I have been searching for you." My paws hesitated on the cold ground. "Why?" He lifted his head, and for a moment, I forgot how to breathe. His eyes glowed a soft red, warm, gentle, but undeniably broken. "Because my heart," he confessed, "is not mine." The moon mark on my forehead flickered sharply. Something in him resonated with it, like a half-forgotten melody. "I was born with a quiet spirit," he continued, "too fragile for this world. A deer, my dearest friend, gave me his heart so I could survive the winter. But a heart borrowed cannot beat forever." He placed a paw over his chest. The rhythm beneath it was uneven, foreign. "I need your light," he whispered. "Not to steal, but to remember whose love still beats inside me." I stepped closer. With each breath, the frost around him softened. And when my glow touched his fur, a rush of memories crashed into me. A deer laughing beneath falling leaves. A fox limping through snow. A promise whispered before the first snowfall. Grief and loyalty intertwined. "You don't want to return the heart," I realized softly. "You want to honor it." He nodded. And in that moment, the forest felt unbearably tender. But deep inside his chest, something pulsed desperately. As if the borrowed heart knew its time was running out. The garden that grew without sunlight. The night after meeting the fox, something strange began following me. Wherever my paws touched the earth, tiny buds pushed up from the soil, glowing softly like lanterns made of dew. At first, I thought it was a trick of moonlight. But by dawn, an entire trail of flowers had bloomed behind me, weaving through the forest in a silver-blue ribbon. I didn't plant them. No creature did. Yet the flowers whispered my name. Luna. Their voices were light as drifting pollen, tender as a lullaby. I knelt beside one, and the moon mark on my forehead brightened in response. The petals opened wider, shimmering with a cold brilliance, moonborn, dream-fed. But then I felt it. A faint weakness tugging at my chest, subtle but sharp, like someone had plucked a single thread from the fabric of my strength. I wobbled, catching myself on a tree root. The flowers leaned toward me, almost pleading. "Don't fade," they murmured. "I'm not fading," I tried to say, but even my voice sounded thinner. The fox stepped from the shadows, his breath frosting the air. "Moon rabbit," he said softly, "these flowers bloom because they feed on your light. They grow, because you weaken. His words settled around me like falling snow. I looked at the endless trail of luminous blossoms, beautiful, yes, but hungry. Too hungry. Then why do they call my name? I whispered. The fox lowered his gaze. Because they were born from the same missing piece of the moon that is calling you. They are trying to return home, even if it costs you. My heart stilled. In the quiet glow of that impossible garden, I realized my magic wasn't just healing the forest. It was consuming me. The wolf who guarded the last dream. Dreams should never bleed. But that night, I found one that did. A thin trail of shimmering dust, like crushed stars, wound through the sleeping forest. It drifted toward me, clinging to my fur as if begging for help. The moon mark on my forehead pulsed sharply, warning me, guiding me. I followed the trail until the trees opened into a clearing I had never seen before. And there, lying at its center, was a massive wolf, white as winter dawn, his body curled protectively around a floating orb of light. The last dream of the forest. His eyes opened when he sensed me. They were old eyes, tired eyes, carrying centuries of stories no one should bear alone. Moon rabbit, he rumbled, though his voice trembled with exhaustion, someone is stealing the dreams of this land. I've guarded this one with all that remains of my strength. I stepped closer, the dream's glow reflecting in the wolf's fading breath. Who would take dreams? The voiceless, he answered. The shadows that forgot how to sleep. They wander, hollow and hungry, searching for pieces of the moon's broken heart. He winced, claws digging into the earth. Tonight, they came for this dream. The orb flickered, dimming like the last ember of a fire. I touched it lightly. A surge of warmth rushed through me, soft, aching, beautiful. I saw hints of what the dream held. A growing forest, healed rivers, creatures laughing in starlight, all things that could be but were not yet. It can save us, I whispered. The wolf nodded weakly. Which is why you must protect it. You are the only one the moon still listens to. A wind rose, cold and restless. The shadows were coming. And in that moment, with the wolf fading and the dream trembling in my paws, I understood. This wasn't just an adventure anymore. It was a promise I had no choice but to keep. The night all shadows spoke at once. Shadows aren't supposed to speak. They're meant to follow, to mimic, to disappear with the light. But on the night after I protected the last dream, every shadow in the forest lifted its head and whispered my name. Luna. The sound rippled through the trees like a cold breath. Even the moonlight felt thinner, as if afraid. I clutched the trembling dream close to my chest. Its glow warmed my paws, but fear still crept along my spine. From behind an oak, a shape peeled itself free, a shadow with no body, no master, only sorrow. It bowed, trembling. We do not wish to harm you, it murmured. We only seek what was stolen from us. More shadows gathered, hundreds, thousands, filling the clearing like drifting smoke. Yet none attacked. None lunged. They only knelt. Why come to me? I asked softly. Because you carry the moon's echo, they answered in unison. And the moon is breaking. The dream in my paws flared painfully, its light straining, resisting. The wolf's final warning echoed in my memory, the voiceless are hungry. But these shadows didn't look hungry. They looked heartbroken. Something cracked the moon long ago, the shadows whispered, and the pieces that fell birthed us, shapes without light, memories without voices. We wander incomplete, longing for what we lost. A silence fell. A pleading silence. Help us, they said. Help mend the moon. Only then will we finally rest. The dream fluttered. The moonmark burned bright. And deep in the sky, a thin fracture of light split across the moon's surface, glowing like a wound. I realized then. The shadows weren't enemies. They were the moon's forgotten children. And they were crying for home. The moon's tear. I thought healing the forest was my purpose. But that night, standing beneath a wounded moon, clutching the last dream against my heart, I understood the truth. Every act of healing I had given had come from the moon's breaking. Its light had been thinning because of me. The shadows, those quiet, sorrow-shaped beings, circled around me, trembling with longing. "Luna," they whispered, "only one piece remains. The final tear of the moon rests inside you." My breath caught. The moon mark on my forehead glowed so fiercely it felt like it might tear open. The fox emerged beside me, his borrowed heart beating unsteadily. The sparrow landed on my shoulder, wings stronger now. Even the ancient turtle surfaced in the still river, watching in heavy silence. I was not alone. But the choice was mine. "If you return the last piece," the shadows murmured, "the moon will heal, and we will fade forever. But the forest will live. And if I keep it?" I whispered. "All this light will eat you from within." I looked up. The moon's fracture pulsed like a painful heartbeat in the sky. My paws tightened around the dream. "I choose," I murmured, "to give back what was never mine." The moonmark burst open, not with pain, but with release. A stream of silver light rose from me, swirling upward like a ribbon of hope. The dream in my paws lifted too, melting into the sky. When the light touched the moon, the fracture closed with a soft, luminous sigh. Every shadow shivered, and dissolved into gentle dust. The forest glowed. My legs buckled, but the fox caught me. "You did it," he whispered. "Little moon rabbit, you saved us." Above us, the moon shone whole again, soft, warm, watching. And though my light was quieter now, dimmer, almost human, I felt something new blooming where the moonmark once burned. Peace. Because even without its gift, I was still Luna. And the forest still needed me.